Have you ever almost lost someone you've been close to your entire life? If not, consider yourself lucky. If so, I guess we've been in the same boat before. I had just arrived to work after I'd left school on a cool October day. As soon as I got there and started opening, my mom calls. She said, "Hey, I need you to come home. We have to go to the hospital. I'll explain more when you get there." And she hung up. Now, the 16-year-old in me obviously was freaking out because that had never happened to me before. So I got in my car and I drove home as fast as I possibly could without getting pulled over, of course. And when I pulled into the driveway, my entire family was getting to my mom's car. And I remember thinking, why is this so urgent? Everyone seems accounted for here. But then it hit me. My great-grandmother had been having strokes over the past few years, and they kept getting closer and closer in intervals together. So I just looked at my mom and I said, "Granny G?" Inquisitively. She said, "Yeah." So I got in my mom's car and I prayed the entire way to Skyline. When we arrived, my grandmother was there to lead us through the cold, unfamiliar halls of the hospital and into my great-grandmother's room. Now, walking in my great-grandmother's room, she looked fine, peaceful even, completely normal, until we got closer. As soon as she realized we were there, she looked up and she said, again. I was taken aback. I had no idea what to think, and I'm sure my face said it all. So my grandma looked at me and she said, "Word salad." Apparently that's what doctors say when you have a lot to say, but you can't form your words correctly. I didn't know how to respond. I just said hi, but she didn't know how to react. She had blue and white mittens on her arms to keep her from yanking out her IV again. And that in itself was unsettling. I mean, how can this woman that literally taught me how to read and write and speak myself not even know how to speak on her own? We sat around her for a few minutes, and then she eventually asked, "Help, please." And my first reaction was, well, those were real words, so that was good, right? But then we realized that she wanted her mittens off, and we couldn't do that because then she would hurt herself again. So we had to say no. And how do you tell someone that's in the hospital that doesn't understand no? She said, "Please." She was begging. We said no. We didn't stay for long after that. She needed rest and so did we. So we headed back home and went to sleep. The next day, my parents went to work and I went to school. All's well, right? Wrong. All I could think about was the struggling and the pleading and the begging from the night before. I made it through half the day, but when I walked into Spanish class, the backboard read, "Test." And I remember thinking, how am I going to take a test when I can't even focus on my own thoughts? But I remember sloppily finishing the test and then heading to lunch with my two best friends. When we got there, they talked, and I distracted myself with my phone. Then I got a text from my grandmother. Attachment, one video, in the family group chat. Now, do I open this or leave it? But my day couldn't have got any worse at that point, so I just decided to open it. I turned the volume up, and it was a video of my great-grandmother. She was eating pudding, and she didn't have those white and blue mittens on anymore. I smiled. And then I got another text from my grandmother. One word: improvement. The people that are in your life now are not always going to be in your life. Death is inevitable. Live your life to the fullest and hold your friends tight and your loved ones tighter.